So in the debate of onetricks and players that are the best at a champion, there is always a little bit of a basic argument between the onetricks of a champions and pro players. Because let's be honest, who's going to be the best Maokai? It's going to be Faker. Who's going to be the best Twitch player? It's going to be Faker. You know what I mean? So that argument, right? A lot of people follow that kind of train of ideas. And so we are here to check that out. The little bit of series coming out. So if you want to see where that series will lead us, then hit subscribe on the channel as we will explore how good exactly pro players are and what differentiates them from onetricks. Okay, so we have Yon here. Good game, GG. If you have been following the channel closely, you already know who that is. That is going to be the man, the myth, and my legend himself, Mr. Cho to the V. And he is going to be starting off in the mid lane with a Yon pick. Got the exhaust. He's playing off against Katarina. And I guess the basic idea here is that with onetricks, right, they know their champion very, very well. And so that alone makes it a difficult conversation because dependent on the champion, there isn't that much to know, right? And so then they start to view the game through a very special lens, which sounds weird, right? But hear me out. So a pro player has to encounter players that are knowledgeable, as knowledgeable or more knowledgeable about a particular champion that they're playing than them all the time. Because as a pro player, your champion pool has to be bigger than the one of a one trick. I mean, we see people like Zeke, right? Very prevalent player, world champion of this year, and probably the most impressive mid laner I've ever seen in a world's performance. However, right, the problem is that he is not very good at control mages. He's a super amazing Akali and Sylas player, and people do not respect him the same as they would respect someone like Chovy, right? And I mean, first of all, right, Chovy has a history of performing well in teams that are definitely not on his par, right? Reliably, let's say, playing very well with very bad teammates, right? But also, then Chovy can pick up an assassin, Chovy can pick up a control mage, and he will do good on both of those. And you can't really say, oh, Chovy is a good Irelia player, therefore he isn't really a good Victor player, right? You can't really say that. And so that also creates less struggle in a way in a pro player. And so pro players tend to have a bigger champion pool, and even someone like, you know, Zeke, he does play a Corki, he does play a he does play a Sylas, right? He isn't an Akali one trick. He does have a good amount of champions that he plays. Irelia, he does as well, although, you know, we've seen some confusing things on the Irelia on him, but he does know how to play it, right? He plays it correctly, like combo and mechanic wise, but you know, the rest of the gameplay, the couple of games that we've seen Irelia were a little questionable, but you know, Zeke also probably right now in a little bit of a different situation than most pro players are. Ooh, flash forward here by Chovy as the knockup will find the Katarina, lock her down, as he's now working on the Caitlyn, will go down as well. That is a double kill here for the Chovster. That is already pretty difficult to deal with here for the enemy. He's left the lane in a little bit of a unfortunate state. Yeah, here one cannon minion. But you know, it's totally fine. He does end up pushing this in before Katarina arrives to freeze it, and so he will be able to go back to the base and get himself the gold invested. Unless Lee Sin's about to cancel here. Ooh, Lee Sin about to cancel him. That's very good job. Yeah, cancels the recall. The Chovster will do more Fiestry in the bot lane. I was trying to have my TED talk here about one tricks and pros, right? on this pilot episode of that series. But yeah. So the thing is, right, with onetricks and pros, that onetricks are often very, very knowledgeable about every matchup, and because it would be boring otherwise, they tend to come out with different item builds. And I have an example of that coming up in the channel pretty soon. So the Viego player, for example, right? The rank 1 Viego player does play him a little bit differently than some others. And I mean, you've seen the previous rank 1 Viego player who, I mean, at this point he's ranked, dropped very far in rank. But he plays mid lane, and he's also running different builds, right? So you will see suboptimal itemization coming out of pros, and that would speak for a lack of champion knowledge, right? Oftentimes. And we could pick out some examples as well where, you know, pros just demonstrate that they do not understand what a champion really needs, item-wise, for example. And, you know, that can be a little bit problematic at times. But the thing is that a pro player knows so much more about the game that the question is, like, how do you weigh that, right? Because what the gimmick with onetricks often is that they're so clueless about general game fundamentals in a way, because they just one-trick their champion and they're used to winning lane because of their better grasp just of mechanics, right? And this works not... I'm not talking about NA here. I'm talking about the Chinese super server, right? Where you have Beifeng, a Qiyana one-trick, who does play a mean Akali as well, but other than that, he's not nearly the menace that he would be on Qiyana, where on Qiyana you just can't stop him. And he just constantly outplays people and gets solo kills, even with the nerfed Qiyana, where every other Qiyana player is just hard struggling on her. There's a huge damage here coming out of Longsong. Out of Jin onto Longsong. Yeah, they will give up the turret here. Very good job. Good call. Is Maokai a little bit overextended, but yeah, Lee Sin will not find the engage here as a Katarina is now... Yekaterin is now joining the fight. Will find the Shanpo, will find the R, but doesn't take down Twitch, and now she's stuck in place because no Shanpo available. Drops the W, will not get her anywhere as the Jin binds Caitlyn, and that means she is going down as well. Double kill here secured for the Jin as Chovy just kind of moving in to clear up out some of the scraps. Will hit the knock-up, will hit the E, and will take down Ashe. Makes his way, instantly makes his way back. That is because he's identified that this wave state is even or advantageous for him. It is advantageous, actually. See, it took me a while to realize that, right? But this is definitely an advantageous lane state for him. And so he will be making his way back to the lane here. That's Katarina. Tempo-wise, didn't really have an opening here, right? He arrived pretty much when she arrived, which is very important. Maokai just gotta wander on through as the Herald will be stopped by Lee Sin, who smells the danger of doing that in front of a Maokai who can just lock you down for the objective. Maokai still probably one of the most broken junglers there is. I think one of his biggest weaknesses is that sometimes teammates don't play around him correctly. Which, if that is your biggest weakness, then, well, you are definitely not a balanced champion. Double kill picked up by Chovy. As yeah, so Yone also is a weird champion because like Yone mechanically isn't really that hard. Like if you focus on what can Yone do, I mean the fancier stuff is like dodging things with your Q and with your E, and then hitting good ultimates, and then on a more macro level is understanding where you have to position yourself to threaten ultimate angles onto enemies. So like where do you come from, right? How do you approach the fight? It's not always front to back, but sometimes front to back is the best because you can peel as well as hitting their engage. As well as connecting with their backline, but sometimes you want to be in an off angle and, you know, so can be difficult. Good dodge here by Katarina. As these dodges, you know, those, they look bad, but this is always range game. That is that he isn't expecting her to be that sophisticated. He's expecting her to just get caught off guard by that. If he was playing versus someone like Faker, he wouldn't even try. Because he knows Faker would use the resources that are provided. Solo queue always a little bit difficult to watch. And it's generally very difficult to judge. Because like solo queue players aren't super focused. Pro play players are focused, but they tend to play more conservative than they need to. Because, you know, job security and so on. As Lee Sin planning a little bit of an ambush here onto the Yone. We'll just walk out. Starts queuing at an early time, and the exhaust comes down and gets Yone to safety for now as the W. Beautiful EQ. See, this is what I'm talking about. Very good job by Chovy and very disciplined. Flashes the Malphite, but then makes the mistake of going back into Malphite. Yeah, I mean, it is a flash for flash, but still. It's kind of rough for him that he ended up dying there to Malphite. Good damage out of Jace. Wasn't an optimal combo though. But, you know, it is what it is. Jace will bully the Maokai, the Malphite very hard. I need to like, whenever I cast a game, I need to actually just like put on the champion names instead of the player names. Because I will just call them wrong every single time reliably. Paul Jin Grace, Cole Graves, frickin' Lulu dude. No, I haven't done that one. That's a little bit too egregious, but still, I do make these mistakes a lot. And it is annoying me big time. Oof. Okay, so seems like the dragon will be started out here. As this is definitely not the most optimal way to start a dragon, but you know, it is the solo queue experience where Yone still in the mid lane and the bot lane will be fighting Katarina. Well, Katarina will be killing the Twitch. Flash out of Jhin will get him to safety. W will find Katarina. One ultimate shot is guaranteed. Ooh, beautiful dodges by her, but the last bullet will find her as Jhin. Now not really able to help out the Maokai here, who did pick up the dragon for the blue team. Flash kick. The ultimate. Ashe ultimate comes through. The Lee Sin Q will find, and that is Jhin going down, but he is traded for a Ashe. So, you know, it's not too terrible for Jhin. But it's also not the optimal place you want to find yourself in as Malphite. Landing an ambush here onto the Yone again. No champion. No single one champion can look as stupid as this champion. If you miss your Malphite ult, you just look like a Cyclops. No matter what is going on, like no matter, you just look like an absolute fool and buffoon. The ultimate comes out as Rahel will just get autoed down trying to dodge. This Jhin, dude, why are you still in the... Why is Jhin here? Dude, if I was this Yone, I would be so triggered because Yone is super good in the side lane. You're super strong in the side lane. I guess Jhin really wants that turret. But no point in arguing. Ah, beautiful juggle here by Maokai and the Jace. Because they will end up taking down Lee Sin for a third time. Doesn't really matter though. Let's be honest. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. As we will chase down Malphite, but not really be able to do much. But is able to keep the wave, so we'll be able to push out very quickly. Pressure out the Malphite, but this is just a respect play because he doesn't know where what person is, and walking at someone aggressively makes you very predictable to the Ashe, which is always important to understand. Malphite very good at setting up ganks, so you have to be a little bit careful here. Malphite positioning himself as if he would win that trade, which he definitely does not. As Twitch trades himself for a double kill here for the Jhin once again. Lee Sin is around. Will he be able to cover for Malphite? Actually decent buffer by Malphite, as he will use his ultimate to at least deal a little bit of damage, but kill not picked up onto the Maokai nonetheless. So Malphite just goes down once again. Iceborne Gauntlet, Bramble Vest, and Plated Steel Caps. This Yone still shreds through your HP because Yone is a balanced champion. We are looking for an Ashe Arrow here. The kick will come through. The Ashe Arrow hits, the kick hits. The ultimate will not land, but still Master Lee. Dude, see, this is... I hate myself sometimes, dude. Still Lee Sin just blunders and uses the Q. And goes down. And I called him Lee Sin. I called him Master Yi again. It's just... I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is with League of Legends character names, but it is the bane of my casting. I don't know. It's such a big issue. So annoying. So freaking annoying. That's alright. We will keep up the pressure here in the top lane. And there is so far not really a planned response here by the red team. So Yone will be able to at least push in another wave and deny some XP here. And this is definitely one of the hallmarks of the Chovster, right? Is 170 CS at 17 minutes. That is exactly what he does, how he does it. Nice goal to the enemy team. Dragon coming up soon, but not yet on the map, as Chovster will go back. And Caitlyn will be caught out of position here. As that pretty much seals the dragon fight, as long as no big mistakes occur here. And Jace will take out the Malphite. I think Jace just flashed Malphite. Yeah, Jace just flashed Malphite ultimate casually. Takes him down. The flashes are traded. And the game is ended. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay